Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
Maybe hang on the couch for a minute. How you been? What's up? How's it living? I wanna know, man.
Can I kick it?
Big thoughts, little talk, kicking it. What it was, what it is, where it's headed.
Hey guys, and welcome to episode 23 of Can I Kick It podcast. I'm sitting here with Trenton Lee, who came highly suggested by Zach Sutphin from
Thanks,
a past podcast with Memory Motel. So, Trenton, there's really a resurgence in local music these days, and I'm glad to know that you're a part of it because I listened to your freshman album on the way home from dropping my son off today, and it's more my style than anything else I've heard around here.
You know,
acoustic is kind of like a blank canvas, and you brought a style to it that's obviously influenced right off the top by Johnny Cash.
Big Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
A lot of my influence, I'm all over the place with my influences, but you know, I grew up, I was raised by my grandparents, and then also I have a terrific dad, and that, you know, it came a lot from there. Whereas, you know, my grandparents were big into classic country, and I recall, you know, my grandpa being really into like Fair and Young and Roger Miller, stuff like that.
And, I'm a big Roger Miller fan. A lot of people don't know about it.
Love me some Roger Miller. But
they ought to take a rope and hang me.
Yep. But and then I had my dad, who was, you know, he was born in 74. So then he was, you know, a teenager in the late 80s, early 90s. So then a lot of my I got a lot of influence from the alternative rock, and I remember my dad showed me like Cake when I was like 13, and I just got really into Cake, and so my influences are all over the place. But when I don't have a lot of equipment, I'm I do this as a hobby. Yeah. A lot of this started out as a hobby, and it's just kind of blossomed, honestly, a lot quicker than I thought. And so right now it's just me and an acoustic guitar. But hopefully, you know, as time
that comes across as authentic, and I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's real, and that's what, you know. My good buddy Nick Johnson, who I owe a lot of this to. He's the one that, you know, he heard some of my stuff, and he's a musician, and he heard it, and he was like, you know, this is
He's
really
a bass
good.
player, right?
He's a bass player.
Okay.
He toured with, I think, Fire Hazard was the band name.
He was telling me he met John Paul Jones, right, from Zeppelin.
Yeah,
or he worked in the studio with him.
Worked in the studio when he was doing his.
It's like a rare bird
in college. Yeah, crazy.
That's
but
nuts. Yeah,
he kind of said this shouldn't be a hobby. He was like, you should do this. He's like,
you definitely got it, dude.
He's been a personal hype man for me, and you know, he was the one that was like, you should put it out there. So I did, and I put it out there, and now I got bit by the live bug, and now I'm just kind of playing shows and stuff.
That's the leap I have not taken yet. Yeah. Someday
it felt amazing. I was incredibly nervous, wildly nervous, and I just got out there and I started playing my songs, and I started seeing the reactions from the crowds, and what was the feeling or the transition like from just playing in your room to a recording studio, or like how did you record? Oh man, I recorded
nerves.
No, well, I recorded my first album. Now it was out of my garage.
Right.
Yeah, it's
buy your own gear. Or
yeah,
someone supply it.
Well, it was a Mac and GarageBand.
Oh, dude.
So I did
underrated.
Yeah, and a lot of it, even less than the Mac, it was my voice memos on my phone.
That's where you get your lyrics down.
Yeah, and then I would send it off to, I had a buddy that does audio engineering at IU, and I sent it off to him to master it. And so what you hear now on the album This Is Trenton it's raw. It's very lo-fi, which, you know, I have my humility about it. I have my, you know, I want it to be better. I think it should be better. But people come up to me like, man, this is good stuff, and I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure it's good stuff? Because it's very.
I guess there's a moment. I would suppose, I can't speak from experience, where as a musician you start to meet people you don't know, that you've never met, and then you find out.
Oh, it's cool.
If they're giving you compliments, there's no basis for them to do that.
Yeah, and well, I think the biggest thing that I struggle, I do a lot of my humor and stuff is self-deprecating, right. But I think the thing that I struggle the most is it's hard to take compliments, because I teeter back and forth of, am I really good, or are just people being nice?
Yeah.
And I think I see a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that come to my shows and stuff like that are my friends, and I'm like, are they just coming because they're my friends, or but do they like it? And a lot of them say they really like it. So it's been really cool.
Well, dude, I can legitimately tell you that I liked it.
Man, I appreciate it.
It's on my liked songs on Spotify, the whole album.
That's gonna get you made me probably like 10 cents. So
it's pretty hard to, especially with the first album, I guess you could say, to have every song be unique but still fall into this like kind of album
right
collective kind of. I don't know how to explain that correctly, but.
well, it's got to be cohesive.
There you go. Yeah.
I want it to be cohesive. So, like, I couldn't come out there and do a like 5 acoustic songs in a row and then hit it with a, you know, like here's a.
Well, each song had its own heart or its own theme,
and they all like a lot of those too were collected works that I had done before and then went back and redid. So they all come. I'd say that.
And then you threw a couple covers in as well. Which songs were the covers?
I think I did a
Paul Simon.
Definitely a Paul Simon. So big
Love
Paul
that
Simon
song.
fan.
Yeah.
But and then I did an '80s synth pop song by When in Rome called "The Promise," which that was my favorite song that I did because it's always really cool when you hear like an '80s synth pop song in an acoustic form. But
I've been kind of playing around with Aha. Take On Me on acoustic. I haven't quite figured it out, but I'm getting ready to drop that.
That band did an Unplugged album, MTV Unplugged.
Dude, that's the one that got me wanting to play it on acoustic.
So good.
Yeah, you should do that. You should do that anyway. But yeah, so I mean, the picture on the album, the album cover for This Is Trenton.
My oldest daughter, Charlotte, she
cool.
came to me one evening. We were home, and she came up and she said, "Daddy, I made you a record cover." And I took one look at it. I was like, I said, this is going to be an album. Cover. And it's funny because
it was cute as hell.
She butchered my name on it.
Oh,
my
yeah.
spelling.
Trenton.
She spelled it Trintin, and which is funny because any merch that we do now, we spell it Trintin. And hell, my friends Casey Harlan and Samantha Howard, they did my merch for my last show that I played, and they made like a tap out logo Trenton shirt. So it's sold. People like it. So.
Yeah. So what was your first show? Like how long ago?
Oh, so that's a really cool story. It was back in April, and
damn, that recent. Huh?
It was pretty recent.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'd played open mic nights, and I'd opened for a couple people at the Moose Lodge and stuff like that. But it was my first big show, and I played with a guy named Darren Bradbury, who I now actually really consider a friend. He's way cooler than I, and has. Like his biggest song has like 200,000 hits on Spotify.
Wow. And
I'm just barely, I just recently broke like 300 listeners and like 12,000 streams, which is cool. But Nick had said, I had pitched this album to him. I was like, hey man, I just bought this album called Talking Dogs and Atom Bombs. I think you'd really like it. And then about a month or two later, he's like, I listened to that album. He's like, that guy is like right up your alley. He said, I like it. And then I put out my album. He said, you should invite him. We should do an album release party.
And he responded.
And because it was kind of like one of those situations where your buddies try to get you to talk to a girl. Yeah. Like the worst thing they can do is say no. Right. And brothers and sisters, let me tell you, the worst thing a woman can do when you approach them is say ooh.
Yeah.
But Darren's agent did not say ooh. She said he'd be happy to play a show with you. He only wants 100% a cover. So we did that, and the turnout was amazing. I'd say he probably made near $400 just from cover. People in and out. And,
that's more than a gas gig.
Oh man, he loved it, and he had a blast. So he was great, and we played a big show. And
what can you tell me about your first show? Like feelings, emotions, expectations ruined.
Nervous as hell, and I flubbed my first song. I got out there and I played Paul Simon's "You Can Call Me Al." Probably my favorite song of all time. Just absolutely love the words to it, and it's such a sad song, but so upbeat. Yeah. And so I flubbed it, and the coolest thing about that is I'm sitting there and I have this overwhelming, nervousness, and I forget the words to my favorite song.
Oh, that's easy to do.
Darren Bradbury is in the background. He hollers out the words like a cue, and then I remember where I was at.
Oh, man, everybody needs a bump.
Yeah, and it felt good. And he came up and he told me it was the coolest thing. He said, you could die out on stage tonight. He goes, so go out there. He's like, do what you can. He goes, the nerves never go away. And I did. And, I got about 3 songs into it, and I looked out.
Now you know.
And whether I'm playing to 2 people or whether I'm playing to 50 people, or hell, maybe someday if I'm playing to 51 people.
Yeah.
then I'll still be nervous. So
There's a sort of quality to your album that I noticed the theme, a lot of sadness about women, and we kind of chatted about this a little bit earlier, but have you had a lot of struggles with, you seem like a hopeless romantic type.
I do.
You struck a chord with me hearing that album.
Yeah, it's romance has been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you have a couple kids, right? Is that from a marriage?
I do.
Or?
Oh no, their mom is terrific, and we were together for quite a while. We were together when we were in high school, and then
Didn't shake out.
Yeah, no, but we split, mutually, and we have co-parented really well since.
Excellent.
And, massive respect to her. But ever since then, it's just been up and down and up and down.
It's crazy being a dad in the dating world these days.
Yeah,
and then we have Tinder. We have online presence.
Recently got the free month of Tinder Gold, so I get to see all 3 women that like me. It's great. But no,
do you on your Tinder profile? Do you put anything about your music?
Oh man, I try to milk that there.
You should.
They have an option where you can add like your Spotify anthem. So I put it down there.
Put your own song.
Yeah, I put my own song down there. And
have you seen a spike at all because of that?
Oh no, hell no, not at all. My biggest spike that I got is my buddy Matt put my stuff on a Reddit page, and I went from having 50 listeners to within 2 weeks I've gotten to 300.
Did you have any listener feedback, like direct messages or?
Not yet, but the number you could look at your metrics, and you could look at the number of saves and stuff like that. Yeah. So people are saving and continuing to listen. So the streams went up, and they haven't really went down.
Right.
So every day it's really cool, and that it makes me feel better. And I think that's what the driving force is. Like I said, a lot of the self-deprecation.
That kind of
sets
the foundation for a genuine confidence.
Yeah, and that's what I want. And I think that leading into the sophomore album is
it's bizarre because it takes a certain amount of almost ignorant confidence to get started.
Oh yeah,
it's like but then at a certain point it's genuine confidence, and it's a more appreciable confidence.
Well, nothing made me feel cooler than looking out to a crowd. And seeing people with my shirt, my name on their shirt or the album cover, and we talked about earlier, but I got asked to play a heavy metal gig, and I'm very acoustic, but I looked out in the crowd, and I was playing in between heavy metal bands, and I looked.
Yeah, what were the band's names?
1984X, which is Kurt Christmas, great guy.
Right.
I was happy to be invited.
Shout out to Kurt.
Yeah, and it was 1984X, Trenton Lee. Bleed the Masses. So I came out there and I was like, hey guys.
It's like John Prine playing at a Slayer concert.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I don't know how much chaos you expected me to bring, but I'm just going to get up here with an acoustic guitar and do my own thing. If you guys want to crisscross applesauce, that'd be great. Or just, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Yeah. That's going to be fine. And as I started playing, I got 1-2 songs in, and I noticed the crowd just kind of go to the food trucks. And the people that stayed, they were really vibing. But I look at it and I see this guy, and leading up to it, Kurt had shared my stuff on the page, and he shared a link to my Spotify. Yeah. So I look out and I see this guy mouthing the words to my songs. And I was like, that's never happened before. And he came up and he was like, hey, your music really spoke to me. And I was like, hey, I appreciate it.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, no, it was the coolest feeling. That was the coolest takeaway from that. It was I got that first time I got that vibe was playing at a heavy metal show. So, yeah.
So where do you see this heading? Do you have any big shows coming up? Or?
We're planning. I'm in the middle of planning something called Trenton Palooza right now. We want to do. I want to get some local musicians together.
Yeah.
I want to do an outdoor concert. I want to do a beer garden, and
Man, I'll be glad to help in any way that I can with our publicity, whatever limited amount that is.
Once I get a go ahead, and I don't want to name drop who we're working through, but once I get a go ahead from them, then we're going to market the hell out of it, and hopefully we're going to have fun. We got some cool bands that have agreed to play, and
definitely get a hold of Jimmy Wilkins and Keenan Delph.
Yeah, Jimmy's great.
Way down.
Jimmy's great.
Yeah, talented dude.
Yeah.
So what do you have anything immediately coming up soon?
Not necessarily. Right nothing right now. Well, I mean,
hit him up. Book this dude.
I work bar mitzvahs. Yeah. I'll do your brisk, whatever.
corporate lunch.
Yeah, whatever you need. But no, if it does work out, that the Marshindig should be within the month. So,
are you writing some new stuff?
I have an album. I have songs that are in the barrel, and a lot of like we said earlier, a lot of these songs that I wrote, they're about heartbreak. They're about they're sad songs, and I kind of wanted to write an antithesis to This Is Trenton. I wanted to go the opposite route. I want to do less acoustic, go more electric, not huge electric,
right.
but
accompanying electric,
less
maybe a
folk,
drummer,
folk, more Americana.
Okay.
So I wanted to go that route, and
so are you gonna veer towards country a bit, like you know what I mean?
It's an amalgamation.
Okay,
so
cool.
Country, like think Sturgill, electric wise.
Awesome.
Think late '90s alternative. Marcy Playground, Presidents of the United States, Weezer.
Yes.
That would be my dream, and that's like I said, getting this whole thing up and going has been a lack of equipment, and it's the reason why I'm so I get so down on my music is because I hear it and I'm like, that needs to be this. It needs to be better, and so that's what I'm wanting to do.
From all the musicians that I've talked to on the podcast, it's always the same thing.
I bet.
I mean,
it
is.
I see it, and I want, and that's like it's like people always kind of shit on George Lucas, the director of Star Wars, because he goes back as technology gets better and he changes things. But man, that's art. Is you just kind of listen to your own stuff, you see your own art, and you're like, that needs to be.
I can't remember who
better.
said it, but some artist said something to the effect that it's not being a great artist has a lot to do with knowing what not to do or when to stop. And just recently I heard an artist say that keep the song short, leave them wanting more.
Well, like hell, I mean, like you look at the pop of like the '60s and '50s. You think about that. Hell, those songs were 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2, and then it kind of grew to 3.
Yeah, and then you get to then you get in the '70s, you get into like Dead, and then you got like 20-minute songs. You get the '90s with Tool and Fish, and you got jam bands. But no, I try to keep them short. But even when I keep it short, I'm like, damn, that's only a 2-minute song. I've had relationships last longer than that. So
I could see you doing some collabs.
I'd like
folks
to.
Around
I think I've always wanted to.
You think you need to gain respect first?
Oh,
before
definitely.
That kind of
I don't
happens?
think I deserve. I don't think I deserve a lot of even like I don't like right now. I don't even think
like generally speaking, like I think a lot of people won't even hear you out because, dude, if you go to jam with somebody, and I can speak from personal experience, and you think you're ready, and then you meet somebody that's not your peer, they're above you, that can be an awkward situation.
Oh, I get starstruck by the dudes around me. Like, that's the strangest thing. But I always joke about the story, and I told you earlier, but I always joke about Hatcher coming up to me, and he was like, hey, man, I listened to your album. It's really good, but that Woody Guthrie shit ain't going to cut it. So I always like that. So I respect Hatcher for
kind of kicking the ass a little bit. Yeah.
But then I talked to Clymer, and Clymer's get a lot of praise from him. Kate, get nothing. She's been terrific. I would love to collab with Kate. She has such a beautiful voice. Oh, Kate from the Randies,
unique
by the way.
Style.
Very unique style. The song they do, Sally. My God, her voice sounds amazing on that. So I get starstruck by just hanging out with these guys, and hell. And you know Austin, but anytime I see Austin Sprinkle walk into him, I'm like, hey, that's Austin Sprinkle. I don't know if you know who that is, but Leaving Knox guy. He played with the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, so that's cool as hell. So it's we got a lot of talent. It was so strange watching him open for Red Jumpsuit Apparatus because I remember him being like a kid. Yeah. And his voice is undeniable. Oh man, he's they lit up the Electric River Jam like you couldn't believe. Everybody was rocking. Yeah, he is Vincent's cover. Yeah, he is Vincent's Robert Plant. Yeah, super talented guy. He's like the same age too. Yeah, it's unreal. So what can you tell me about your childhood, man? Where are you from? Man, I'm Bicknell, born and bred. I don't know if that's what you. These hot spotted people from Bicknell, Chris. It's dudes. I loved it. What can you say about Bicknell? I mean, as an influence almost. It was cool because and I don't know, growing up there, it seemed probably in a bad thing now, but it kind of seemed frozen in time. you could, I had free reign, growing up, you get on your bike.
Those days are gone.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, and that's
sad.
crazy. Hell, I lived 2 blocks away from this elementary school there, and I pitched to my girls' mom. I was like, why can't the kids, they're going to be second and third. I remember walking to school when I was, and that was miles. And I was like, why can't they walk 2 blocks? And she was like, you never know what can happen in 2 blocks. I was like, and it's the craziest thing too, because do
you think there's a real threat, or is it just in the minds of the people?
I think that there's always been weird people. Like I remember growing up,
maybe more so back in the day, and they talked about it.
Probably, but we had a town pervert. I mean, every town was pervert, and like we would as
a whacker,
little boy, and we'd just be little boys like riding around on bikes, and we'd look, and then there's Bill jerking off in the window, and then you get home and you'd like, hey Dad, I saw Bill jerking off in the window.
We don't
again.
talk about that.
He's like, that's just Bill. so I mean, yeah, I guess
what
that's
changed?
Yeah,
what
I don't know.
Is it the media? Is it?
Well, I mean, probably Bill shouldn't have been whacking off in the window.
Well, absolutely. But,
I don't know. It's times are weird. But
Bill didn't have a lot of friends.
No,
so
he didn't.
That was his punishment.
That was his way of just saying, hey, I need a friend.
Yeah.
But no, Bignell was a great place to live. I moved away for a while. I taught middle school up around Chicago, and I loved it up there. But I saw so many concerts up there because they have.
Hell yeah.
I was living
Tinley
in
Field.
Yeah, Tinley. I lived about 15 minutes.
Spot.
About 15 minutes from there.
I was supposed to go see Black Keys, and
it's a great venue.
Who was playing with Black Keys in June? Supposed to go hang out with Ryan Gerstmann up there.
I saw Cake and Ben Folds up there. I saw
Ben Folds.
Ozzy. Saw Ozzy play.
That's a classic.
Weezer a couple times, but I had lawn passes every year. They do a thing for locals where you can do a $250 and the whole summer you get lawn passes.
So did you kind of back to your career?
Sure.
Like you went to school, right?
Education.
To be an English major?
Education.
But with a focus on what? For education,
elementary and special ed.
Okay.
So which is that's
what led you to that?
I had an awesome principal and I had awesome teachers growing up, and I just like had a massive respect for those people.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of being a little bit of a shithead in elementary school, and I got asked one time. I got held in from recess, and the principal, Roy Sloan, terrific guy. He said, "What do you want to do when you grow up?"
Yeah.
And I thought about it for a minute. And I was like, I want to be like you. I said, I got massive, well, I didn't say that, I was massive, but I was like, I have massive respect for that man. I was like, I want to be like him. So I went to school to be a teacher, taught for a few years, and now I'm currently working on my master's for educational administration. So that's my goal, is to be, what he was to me to other people. So
Man, it's really hard. I wanted to be a teacher also, but I got in a lot of trouble. But even so, like I have a friend, Jess Briner, who works at the middle school here in town.
I went to college with Jess.
Yeah, she's great,
yeah.
man.
Jess and
she's been
Grayson.
a friend for a long time. My daughter's actually in one of her classes, which is some crazy world that's happening in.
Yeah.
But dude, did you have any problems with the curriculum being dropped down from the government?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it was one of those things that, I was mainly a history and science teacher, so I didn't have a lot of
pretty established.
Everything I wanted was everything I needed to do was out of a textbook, and history doesn't change. I mean, it should, because a lot of those textbooks are like Christopher Columbus was he discovered America, and he was.
Well, I just mean when I got to college, I was in I can't remember the guy's name, but I was at VU, and I went to a history classes, American history, like 101 or whatever, and I was just like, this is not how I learned history. It's not so much that they misled me.
Oh, they did.
They kind of did, but there's what they left out.
Oh, that's which
is all context.
I don't want to get super political with it.
Oh yeah.
There's gosh, man, right now there's been pushed to I don't know, and like I said, I don't want to get super
demonized,
but critical race theory, where they're like, let's take all this bad stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
A lot of it's like it's like ignoring all of this bad stuff that white people did. That's kind of what it is, and I mean, it's just one of those things that it happened, and we're not going to learn from it unless we,
look at it honestly.
Yeah, you have to. And I think if you look at history, some of the injustices and stuff that have happened to people, those kids were young. So if they were young enough for these injustices to happen to them, then kids are probably young enough to learn about it. So.
Right.
And I think it starts pretty early, because I remember my kids coming home from first grade or so and learning about Christopher Columbus, and they're like, he discovered America. I was like, first off, we're not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what really happened. He did not discover America. But I said there were people living here beforehand.
There's a lot of evidence that they weren't the first people to discover
even the Vikings.
America.
I mean, the Vikings, but
maybe even the Romans. There's evidence to support that.
Crazy.
Yeah, the Phoenicians.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So did you end up getting out of the teaching field?
No, I'm still very much in education, and I enjoy it every day. You know, I always joke that the best part of my day is going to work and seeing the kids, and the worst part of my day is going to work and seeing the adults. So I'm in administration now, and I absolutely love my job, and I don't ever see myself getting out of it. It's just it's so rewarding, and education is one of those jobs where you can come. And I work with little kids now as opposed to middle school, but it's one of those jobs where you can come to work and get told "I love you" 20 times in one day, and you can't get that anywhere else.
No.
If you worked at a bank and heard "I love you" 20 times. That'd be kind of concerning.
Maybe a mental hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I love you too.
So, being an educator and being around children, have you incorporated music into that at all?
I have. Not lately. I've been incredibly busy with administration. Yeah, it gets tough. But you know, it's one of those things that I tried to work it in with, especially with the little kids. You know, getting there, the Kumbaya, a lot of Shel Silverstein, stuff like that.
Excellent. All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back with Trenton Lee.
Most middle-aged men go out and buy themselves a sports car, but these guys, against all odds, take up arms in a city full of corruption. You will laugh until you hurt as this bumbling quartet of superheroes get themselves caught up in a web of drugs, crime, and all-around hysteria.
I'm not the bad guy here.
Oh, and Jack, the next time you want to challenge me, I'll have you buried with your mother.
We're not superheroes, Nash. We're a lawyer and a mechanic.
I want you to make sure that when you're driving the getaway vehicle, you can actually get away.
Maybe we should start doing something.
You're a goody two.
This is the story of 4 middle-aged men that go from zeros to heroes. Midlife crisis coming soon.
That's a mighty big accusation. You're a small-time punk. And I usually don't do deals with parasites.
Well, my expectations were a little lower than they probably should have been. And I let that girl put me in positions that I swear to God I'll never be in again. But don't you worry about me, darling, I'm doing alright. And I ain't losing no sleep when I lay my head down at night. So Becky, pour another, even though I can hardly see. That rain's falling down and I got no one at home waiting on me. Well, I can turn water into whiskey and I can part that Wabash. I feel like $1,000,000, but I know that I act like trailer trash. And she can knock me off my feet just by wearing that sundress. And she always tells me no, but I know someday she'll say yes. So Becky, pour another, even though I can hardly see. That rain is falling down and I got no one at home waiting on me. Well, things got a little rough and I've been moving slow lately. But I can still make you smile I'm still that same old Bignell boy I used to be. But if you're shooting for the moon, at least you're gonna land among the bars. And that's where my happy begins. Yeah, that's where my healing starts. So Becky, pour another, even though I can hardly see. That rain is falling down and I got no one at home waiting on me. Yeah, that rain is falling down and I got no one at home waiting on me.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're sitting here with Trenton Lee still. That song you just heard was?
Becky, pour another.
Yeah, and you said, I can turn water into whiskey and I can part that Wabash.
It's my favorite line.
Great line.
Thank
yeah.
you.
What? So Becky was a bartender at Willie's,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, she was there for the longest time. You know, throughout when I was there for college and then up until recently. But I would, you know, as a white man that can't sing, my civic duty is to perform karaoke when offered. And so I would go in there like most Thursday nights.
I'm guilty as well.
Yeah. But I would go in there most Thursday nights and I would sing Brandy by Through the Looking Glass. And, you know, Brandy, yeah, what a good wife you be. But I would always change it to Becky. And she was always a really good sport about it. So last fall I was writing a song and, you know, I've always wanted to like work. So I thought Becky deserved to be worked into a song. And so I needed a girl's name because... So I just put Becky in there, and it worked out great, and it turned out to be one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite off of your album.
Sounded great.
It sounds like you frequent a lot of drinking establishments.
I do when I can. I like to network.
There's a lot of kinship at some of the bars around here, especially Cutters. You know,
I think a lot of it was, you know, it stems a lot from, I lost my grandparents, and then, you know, so I don't have a lot of family left over.
Yeah.
So when I was in college and I got out to bars and I met all these friends that I have now, and they quickly became, you know, a lot of them my brothers, and I just like it's that kinship, it's that family.
I've definitely seen you at the bar.
Yeah,
we've probably had conversations.
We probably have. We just don't remember.
Yeah, it's exactly.
So I met someone recently last night. Clymer was with Chelsea, and she said, I said, nice to meet you, Chelsea. And she goes, no, we've met 5 times. And I said, where'd you meet me? And she goes, here. And I go, we didn't meet. So
yeah,
but
you weren't all there, bud.
Apparently not.
So the whole album, especially like in the Red Glow's obviously about Cutters. As soon as I saw the title and then listened to it, I thought Cutters, man.
I wrote that one. I moved away. I was teaching up around Chicago. Yeah. And a couple of years I was up there, but every weekend, you know, whether I would be coming back to get my girls or I would be home, and by home I would be at Cutters, and that's what I was homesick about. I was homesick about that, so I wrote that song, and it's that was probably, if anything, the most personal and realist song that I've wrote, because it was just about the experiences I had, the friendships I made, the romance that I had there. It's all there, so.
There is something romantic about
it. Is
the bar.
There's something romantic about a dive bar. I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe
I'll tell you what I think it is. It's the pressure's off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Totally.
Everything's out there.
Yeah. I miss Cutters. See, I've been on probation for a while, so I can't frequent drinking establishments, and I probably won't drink again for a long, long while, if ever. But if I like to play pool, and that's probably where I go to Cutters.
Pool,
you know?
Yeah. It's a laid back atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it's just. I've taken dates there because, it's a comfortable, you really can get to know someone. See, I don't do Willie's on the weekend. I say that, but
I understand.
It's just, it's
a younger crowd.
I like to talk.
Yeah.
A lot of my personality comes out, in conversation, and I just don't get that when the music's really loud, but like, that's what people like. But that's just not for me. So like, I do.
Cutters is not an ass shaking place.
Oh yeah, I could be me there.
It can be an ass shaking place.
Oh, it
2
can.
in the morning. Yeah.
Just turn
depending on who's got control of that jukebox. Yeah.
They're not Turk. Turk's got it. He ain't letting that happen.
Turk will shut you down if
not gonna play that kind of stuff. But no.
Well, it's funny how music can control the vibe of the establishment. I never thought about it till just now, but if you turn it into a hip hop place, the younger crowd's going to show up and drown it out with sound.
Oh yeah, you look at Hanks. Hanks used to be over across the river.
Yeah, I love that.
Hanks used to be like you'd have an older crowd there, and then now Friday and Saturdays. I think a lot of it's because it's smokeless, which a lot of places are moving towards. But crowd likes that. Me, I just it's become part of my life that I know that I have to shower when I get home.
Oh hell yeah!
So, but it doesn't bother.
Yeah, how else does a woman know if her man's been lying to her at the bar if you can't smell cigarettes on it?
Well, now it's crazy. You go home and a woman can't say you smell like bubble gum and pineapple because of the vape. Yeah. But,
what's your favorite vape smell?
Oh man, somebody had Hubba Bubba, and I don't vape. I don't vape or smoke, but I was like, damn. Blow that my way. I like that Hubba Bubba stuff.
I'm a kiwi strawberry man myself.
That's pretty good.
If you imagine a cowboy on a horse, like hitting a vape, it's not the same. It's not the same.
No, you gotta have that Marlboro. They're Marlboro man. The vape man. They should do that. They should market it like that.
But it's like a bro. But he's like a bro.
Hey, dude.
And he's got like a tap out tank on.
Dude, you want it's kiwi strawberry?
Yeah. Come on, bro.
It's good.
Come on, bro.
Really good. Oh, goodness.
Dude, so I guess what I really want to know is how's your love life right now?
Oh, man.
Since the music started,
So the craziest
going
thing,
in for the kid.
Oh, it's okay. Come right through the jugular there. But no, it's crazy writing music and trying to date. And it's, I've had like my ups and downs, and that's okay.
Do you find that they want to have you write a song about them?
I had one that was like really flattered when I did. But like it follows you. It really does. Once you put that out there, once you make an album and you put a song about a girl on there, if it doesn't work out, you're kind of screwed. And I feel so bad for some of these rock stars that's been doing it for decades. They got so many songs about so many different women, but it doesn't.
It kind of gives you a body count on public display. I didn't even think about that. Jesus,
more like a heartbreak count.
Yeah.
But, no, it's one of those crazy things. It's like you get in a relationship and you write a song for the girl that you really like, and then it doesn't quite pan out, and the next thing you know, you're back to dating again, and then you meet someone else new, and they have that. Women have that obvious question like, did you ever write a song about someone? And then you could try to be sneaky about it. Be like, no, babe, I've never written a song about someone.
It's all
else.
objective.
And then they're like, well, who the hell writes a song about being a houseplant? And you can counter, you can try to double down and be like, well, I was really into botany. But I'm a gambling man, and I'm willing to bet that the demographic of songwriting botanists is
she's not going to prove that.
Yeah, it's probably pretty damn slim. But
it's It's so the houseplant song.
Oh yeah. That one's about a girl. That was definitely about a girl.
Definitely.
No grown man writes a song about being a houseplant.
You definitely have a really creative approach. I think that's probably what most struggling artists come up against. People that are just starting writing songs and stuff. They're looking for a premise, and they haven't. Where would you say you got your ability to find a premise like that? Are you art?
Well, I think
in other ways
we had kind of talked about it earlier with my influences. If you look at the work, if you look at Prime, you look at Miller, Roger Miller. They're both like incredibly clever with it. So I'm nowhere near that, but
are you a writer at all?
No, I did a little bit in high school in like a creative writing class, and we talked earlier about Coomer. Professor Coomer always encouraged that creativity, but it's just like with Houseplant, that song. If you guys haven't heard it, it is probably the cheesiest song I've ever written. One of the lyrics out of that song, and I thought it was clever as hell. But one of the lyrics.
All right, we're gonna go to a break real quick. Trenton, I apologize. No, you're fine. We'll come right back.
Most middle-aged men go out and buy themselves a sports car, but these guys against all odds take up arms in a city full of corruption. You will laugh until you hurt as this bumbling quartet of superheroes get themselves caught up in a web of drugs, crime, and all-around hysteria.
I'm not the bad guy here.
Oh, and Jack, the next time you want to challenge me, I'll have you buried with your mother.
We're not superheroes, Nash. We're a lawyer and a mechanic.
I want you to make sure that when you're driving the getaway vehicle, you can actually get away.
Maybe we should start doing something.
You're
goody two shoes.
This is the story of 4 middle-aged men that go from zeros to heroes. Midlife crisis coming
That's a
soon.
mighty big accusation. Just a small-time punk. And I usually don't do deals with parasites like you, but I mean.
Yeah, so Houseplant is the cheesiest song that I've written, especially like the line, you know, if you're lactose intolerant, like I said, stay away from that song. But especially the line that's like, don't worry, I'll never leaf you. You know, that's about as creative as we get there. But it
has an appeal. Like that song has
cutesy.
an angle. At first you're like, what? What's going? And then you're like, oh, he's talking. Oh, okay. It's sort of it's a cool song because it's like to me it seems like it's about a girl that you're afraid to approach.
Oh yeah, she was out of my league. Totally.
Really?
Yeah, she was totally out of my league. But you know, she was cool, and you know, like I said, really, it's one of those things that you know when you're.
Was it a swing and a miss, or did you not take the swing?
She was very gypsy-like, very like.
Cool.
Like we saw each other for probably about a month and a half.
Intimidating?
Oh, she just packed her bags up and disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah, she's real, I swear.
Yeah.
No, people like I had to double check myself. I didn't know if like I Fight Clubbed myself.
Yeah.
She was real, and she one day she just packed up her small house, got all her plants into her car, and I think she got back with her ex, and I hope she wherever she's at.
Yeah.
But that kind of fed into other songs too, like Heaven's the Bed Scene. You know, a lot of that. You know, I tried to reuse, not necessarily reuse themes, but do callbacks to themes. So.
It's kind of beautiful when, like at least for me, my dating life has been a lot of in and out. Like some people make a return appearance.
Rotating cast members.
Yeah, dude, it is like, and this last heartbreak I had, I ended up getting back with her, but for a while I was like, man, I'm tired of these people. What's the point of a relationship if everybody's just going to come in and out all the time or just be gone forever? And then I kind of had this moment of clarity where I was like, nobody's supposed to be around permanently. Right. Even your parents, you know, like they're going to pass away, your grandparents, whoever. Yeah. You said your grandparents passed away.
Yeah,
like,
that was one thing that left me with a huge gap.
Oh, hell yeah.
Is I had them, you know, and like I had a lot of, it felt like as a kid I had a big family, and then my grandparents passed away, and now it just kind of feels like
didn't see it coming.
It's just me and my dad now.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's like it's the strangest, you know, Thanksgivings and Christmas when it's like
gaps.
A day of like 3 people.
You know, well, it was a big turning point for me when I kind of realized that don't count on people being there, you know, just count on yourself and count on your ability to make new relationships.
Well, I think one thing that's helped me quite a bit is is having kids of my own now. So all of those traditions that I had as a kid, you know, I do those with my kids, you know, Christmas Eve. Like I noticed that a few years ago is that, you know, all that stuff, it starts to mean more because there was a good 5 years or so where I was like, you know, those holidays kind of felt lost. But, you know, now that I have kids, and they're great. They're
kind of have that now, honestly. Like
I think it's part of growing up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the big thing with my music is it's just kind of growing up.
Yeah. Would you say that a big part of you playing music had to do with making social bonds?
Oh, definitely. So,
I mean, a lot of people don't want to admit that because it's like not cool or whatever. But
and like, I think that's, you know, and like I definitely want my next album to be like I said earlier, the antithesis to This Is Trenton. I want it to be less about heartbreak, more upbeat. Still probably some sad songs in there.
So melancholic,
but upbeat. And then, you know, I wanted to, like, I'm super incredibly grateful for my friends. Yeah. And I want to focus kind of on that. Is, you know, how blessed I am to have these people in my life. And, you know, we have our ups and downs as you know, just dudes being bros. But we have our ups and downs where we fight. We go on the outs. But, no, I'm just wild.
Or not only that, but dudes will just, like, get sick of hanging out with you for a while.
But yeah. Well, and my friend group, we are the most women men. We're so dramatic, and so we just get so pissed off at each other. Sometimes we have this. You know, it's one of those things where we have like a group chat going, where somebody will get their feelings hurt, and then the next thing you know,
that's me all day. Dude.
Next thing you know, somebody's leaving the group chat, and like the most dramatic, the most dramatic way possible. Yeah, so it's just one of those things. But no, I genuinely can say that I love these guys, and you know. it's like most consistent people in my life. Relationships come and go, but these dudes have been around for years now, and they mean the world to me. So there's a couple songs on this next album that'll be out probably within, probably the end of this year, so late fall, early winter. But a lot of the songs that I have on that is just, they're love songs to my buds.
That's a
I'm excited about that, and hopefully, more positivity. And it's one of those things that, I said earlier, I'm tired of the depression. I'm ready for some of the manic. So we're gonna
bring
on the manic. Let's have some good times. And even if they're bad times, let's pretend they're good times. So.
Well, there's an opportunity in every chaos to stop giving a fuck.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
I'm telling you, man, I've lived it.
Full on Kanye in 2008. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, dude, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Like, let's light this motherfucker on fire and dance around it. I'm serious.
That's right.
Especially with like all the political landscape right now is insane and sketchy. And
right now, if I could drive there, because it's the gas prices. But with everything going on, I just want to. And we do have that blessing as it being in the Midwest, where we can kind of ignore the turmoil going on around us and just enjoy our life. Like hell, whenever 2020 happened. Nothing really changed locally. Yeah. I mean, you go to Indy and everything was different, but like you stay, Vincent's and nothing was different. But
did you? What was Cutter shut down?
Ooh, temporarily. Which a fun story about that.
Like Cutter's, 2 weeks or something.
Cutter shut down for probably about a month and a half. So it was probably like from March to May.
You gotta love Vincent's a little bit.
Oh yeah, they did that. But in that time, I didn't know what to do with myself because I'm so used to spending my time there. So I have a garage, and what I did was I completely redid my garage, and I painted it, and I got a dartboard in there, a pool table,
sweet
jukebox, and so I went to Lowe's, and this little old lady at the paint counter, I said, I'm looking for a color palette to paint. I said, have you ever been to Cutter's? She was like, once in 1987. And I was like, well, it's kind of, there's a lot of blues, there's a lot of grays, there's definitely a red glow. And she was like,
we can remake Cutter's.
So I did. And it's, you have to check it out sometime. I will. It's a pretty good, not scale remodel, but it's pretty, I hit it on the nose.
Dude, I'm with that.
Pretty proud
That's a fucking great idea.
And people would, when Cutter's was shut down, I put a kegerator out there and people would come over, we'd have beers out in the garage and we'd hang out and it was nice. And then
breaking law.
Yeah, There was one day the sheriff's department came by, they're like, I just want to check. Heard that there was a tip that there was more than 15 people at one place or something. No, it wasn't that bad.
Get a real job.
Yeah. Those guys, they were just messing with us. But now that everything's back open again, it's a pain in the ass to get the people to come to Bicknell.
Yeah.
But I like it there.
That's a long drive when you're litty. Yeah. You have to put some cots out there or something.
Yeah.
So the song, and we'll close out with this.
Sure.
Because it's getting late, bud. But In the Red Glow, we're gonna. Once you break that song down for us, and
that song that I wrote, it's probably genuinely one of my favorite songs that I've written. I moved away for a couple years. I was up teaching around Chicago, and I was homesick. I was homesick quite a bit, so I wrote that song. Mostly about the good times that I had there. It's probably also about a girl. Most of them are,
right.
But it's one of those things that. It was about the memories, the family, that kinship, that, it was home. Yeah. So I wrote In the Red Glow about that. And, there's little lines in there. Like I would troll the patrons in there and I would play the Monster Mash regardless of season. I thought it was a great song. But so there's a line in there that's like, listening to the Monster Mash. It's a graveyard smash.
But it's like sad sounding when you say it. Like,
so it was like, you can hear the homesick in my voice there. And so here's In the Red Glow.
Awesome, man.
It's late afternoon, I probably shouldn't cut class today. I got a lot to do, I got a lot of bills I gotta pay. But if you don't got the money, I'll buy you a beer. Hey, don't worry about it, I'm just glad that you're here. In the red red glow, sitting in a booth watching time go, probably playing cards and screaming Uno, and listening to Monster Mash. It's a graveyard smash. Well, I know you gotta go and you can't hang around all night, but I'll play you in the pool and I'll be damned if you put up a fight. We're closing it down on a Tuesday night. I'm glad you're here, everything it just feels right. In the red glow, where the fuck did all my cash go? I never quite learned how to say no. That was all money well spent, 'cause I'm glad you were here. And if you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. I can call you Betty, and Betty, when you call me, you can call me out. Call me out.
Thank you guys for checking out Can I Kick It episode 23. Check out Trenton Lee on Spotify and Facebook.
Yep.
And probably a few other places, but we'll go ahead and tag it about right here or right there. All right. Peace, man. Thanks for coming, bro.
Hey, thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to meet you.
Awesome.
Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
Maybe hang on the couch for a minute.